If she had only been ugly, we would still be together.
This is Dom Irrera, live from the Lab Factory. Esther Pavitsky,
Yeah,
good to see you.
good to see you.
Gotta say, off the top of the bat, obviously, you're not our usual guest. You
What-
don't look like anybody else we've ever had. I expect you to be yourself. Don't feel any pressure being with such a huge comic as myself. Don't feel like you have to be funny or serious.
Okay.
But by the end of this, I will have you crying and laughing. It's kind of like a mini Oprah.
I like that. I love Oprah, so.
So I saw you last night at the Ice House. So obviously you're in with that Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan and those hooligans.
Yeah, the dangerous side of comedy
What
I'm a
is it?
part of.
I think I'm part of it too. The Death Squad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, baby.
hashtag Death Squad. It sounds scarier than it is.
Do you have a Twitter,
I do. Just Little Esther.
Little Esther?
Yeah.
Now, do you mind if I ask you how old you are?
No, not at all. I'm 24.
Are you really?
Mhm.
Jeez.
I know that you asked me if I was 21 before this.
Because I was going to buy a glass of wine. Trying to loosen her up for the show.
I don't drink, but I would have taken the candy if I didn't just eat.
I even felt a little perverted offering you candy. It's I'm just not used to hanging out with people that look like you. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that. But first of all, you're very funny. I've seen you on stage. I'm not
Thank
being
you.
patronizing, but you know, your competition. If you get the right thing, you have no competition. You know what I mean?
I assure you I do.
No, but I'm saying as far as nobody looks like you, and when you say, I mean, it's very funny the contrast between some of your material and what you look like, and as you know, otherwise you wouldn't be on Joe Rogan's show with the rest of us pigs.
Yeah, well, I actually, when I do the shows with Joe, I tend to do the dirtier material and that I don't ever do when I'm at the clubs and working out stuff. So it's fun because I get to do those jokes that are a little easier,
Yeah.
laughs because they're dirty. But
Right.
I also then afterwards, when I feel, oh man, I had such a good set, I also know that I can't give myself too much of a pat on the back because they're easier jokes.
I'm going to ask you some regular questions. How long have you been doing stand-up?
I've been doing it for about 4 years now. So
And where are you from?
I grew up in a suburb of Chicago called Skokie.
I know Skokie.
Oh, really?
Isn't that where they had the Nazi
Yes, there was a really famous
marches?
Nazi march
Isn't that a
there.
shame that that's what they're famous for?
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing that people always bring up, which is funny. But it's because there's such a strong Jewish community there that was like the place to do it, and freedom of speech. So the Nazis were allowed to march.
What do you think of the Nazis in general?
In general,
I don't like to be...
in general, I think that they're bad, but some specific Nazis are hot. So
They are, yeah. Well, that's what I mean, because of the discipline and the whole...
right, and then
it's strict.
Schindler's List.
Not a funny movie, by the way.
No, not
the
funny.
musical version was nice, but
The Ralph Fiennes, who plays the really mean guy, he's very sexy in that movie. I love that movie and I really respect it, but he's really hot in it.
so you find that kind of dominant male sexy?
Not usually. I'm usually my own dominant male, but just in that
How could you
particular.
be your own dominant male?
Well, I'm really like physically feminine, but I feel like I'm trying to overshadow that by being like an aggressive alpha male with my personality.
I haven't seen that part of you yet.
Yeah, most
Where do you
people
act like
haven't.
that? Around like middle acts? lower realm acts?
Usually around guys my age.
There's not that many guys your age in stand-up.
Well, my age group, I consider anyone like 21 to 30, I think is my
Okay.
age.
So who's it? Like, who would be a guy? Like, who did you come up with? Anybody I know? There's not that many. Isn't it
think
amazing
so.
how there's not that many comedians that are that big until they're about 40?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I still feel like I'm obviously still coming up, but Gerard Carmichael, I don't know if you know him. He's a really funny comedian that I started with.
Is he black?
He is black.
I do know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. There's a small handful of people that when I started doing open mics, it was just because I moved to LA by myself and I had no friends. And when I started doing comedy, it was just every night you'd go to an open mic and then you'd see the same people the next night and you just become friends. It's almost like being in high school. You just become friends with people in your math class because you want their help, or you want someone to talk to pass the 3 hours of waiting to go up.
Oh no, we talk about that. Like a lot of times we do these podcasts on a Tuesday, and those people that stand outside.
Oh.
They just stand outside in the heat, 95 degrees all day, and they wait for 3 minutes, and then Jamie doesn't see them. So isn't it amazing? Like, I know you feel like you're at the beginning, but how many people you've already beaten out just to get Freudian slip, but just to get to this point,
Yeah, it's true, and because I drive past that line and I see it, and I have waited in that line
Oh, really?
a lot. Yeah, when I first started, I always waited in that line to do this open mic.
I never did. I was always good. Seriously, I don't want to brag. It sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not, because I'm saying I'm not.
Yeah, I wasn't always good, and I'm still not always good. But yeah,
But you got serious balls. Talk about the Alpha Society. I've seen you go up after really strong acts and really hold your own. That's amazing.
Thank you.
This is a tough club. I mean, this is the toughest club to get in because the acts are so good and they do so much time.
Yeah,
so there's less spots.
That's actually because I started doing the late Saturday nights here, and I would go up at midnight, and it would usually be after someone like you or Dane, and I get here and the crowd isn't here, and you're on stage and killing it, and they're loving you, and I'm like, really? I'm supposed to go up after him and just do 10 minutes? Like, I get very scared about that.
Yeah, but once you do it, then you can find. Because the thing is, anybody can follow anybody unless. They do like pull out a dog or a puppet or some shit, that it's really like makes the audience different. But you can, in those amount of sets, I mean, I was amazed when the first time I saw you, and you went up after one of those really rocking sets and did very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's very hard. I mean, because it's intimidating.
Yeah.
I remember when I first came out here, I followed Leno and Robin Williams at the Improv, and I said to the audience, I got to follow Leno and Robin Williams? What kind of hole is this to be in? And they got, they were on my side because I was just acknowledging the truth. I mean, I just got out here. I'm following these famous guys, But I got to ask, I'm really fascinated by the fact that you came out here. Like, I was telling you, my goddaughter lives with me. And she's 19, and I worry about her like an old lady. Like I'm like my grandmother. If it was my godson, one of my nephews, I wouldn't care if they fell asleep at a party and some girl started blowing them. I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? If anybody touched her, I'd kill them. And I just can't imagine the moment when you said to your parents or whoever you were growing up with, guardians or parents, I don't know your story, but when you decided to move out here to become a fucking comedian, what were they thinking? What were
Well, first of all, you're Italian, so you murder more people than my parents do.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for not generalizing. Be more specific about one ethnic group.
Yes. My parents, okay. They never really have been overprotective, mainly because I'm a homebody. I'm 24. I've never done any drugs. I've never tried alcohol. Like, I'm a pretty big scaredy cat on my own.
Well, if we're an alpha male, you're a faggot. A real fag, I tell you.
I am. I'm very faggy.
Fagacious.
But the big thing was when I told them that I was quitting school, they
quit college or high school?
College. They lost their shit. Like, they couldn't even comprehend it. I've never wanted to do anything that they didn't approve of, not because they're really cool, just because I don't ever want to do anything. I just like sitting in my room and reading magazines. Like, I'm a really big loser, faggy loser.
Remember the faggy part.
Yeah, I can't.
Always think of me when you hear that word.
I will. I like it. But so when I told them, I was quitting school, they had to freak out, and then I was basically like, well, go fuck yourself. I'm doing it. And my dad, that's how my dad, yeah. And they were
Let
like,
me give you some money to go do it.
Yeah. Then they were like, okay, fine. And they were very scared at first, but I knew that if I wanted to be a comedian, I wasn't going to be able to live at home and do it, because I tried for a while, and because I grew up in, pretty close to the city of Chicago. I could have gone into the city and done open mics and stuff, but I found that every night when I wanted to go out and do that, my dad would be like, where are you going? When are you going to be home? You can't take the car.
Let me see your material.
Yeah.
This isn't funny.
Yeah. I got really possessive and wouldn't let me do anything. I thought to myself, okay, if I really want to do this, I cannot have adults supervising the behavior around it.
Yeah.
So I had to get far away and be able to use the car whenever I wanted to.
Be able to use the car. I haven't said that in a long time. Can I use the car tonight, Pops? Well, that's amazing. You came out here alone?
Yeah.
How much money did you come out with?
I think I had like $5,000. I had saved up. When I was a kid in Chicago, I used to, this is extremely random, but I was a hand model for the American Girl doll catalog. So I had some...
The American what?
American Girl doll catalog.
The American Girl dog catalog.
Yes.
Put that on your list.
My hands
magazine.
were in it. I happen to have nice hands.
You do. I always notice that.
That's the only part of me that's very modelly. But
Feel
so
my hands. How soft they are.
they are very soft.
You know why?
Why?
I haven't worked in 30 years, kid. Because I do this bullshit.
Just hold the microphone.
My finger was getting stingy and nummy.
Maybe that's why I got into comedy, because people could see my hands when I hold the mic.
That's very funny that you're a hand model.
Well, I was only, not like extensively, just for like a year, because I wanted to try acting, and I got a kids agent in Chicago, and the only stuff that I ever got was hand modeling.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're a hand model? Somebody goes to shake your hand. Sorry. Hey, how are you? No, could do.
I never got to that elite status, but I did sort of feel like I had to put sunscreen on them when I went to the pool because I didn't want my hands to get tan.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You remember that Seinfeld episode? I'm sure.
Oh,
you do.
totally.
Well, that always reminds me of like how there's always somebody their celebrity, like whether it's the boss at work, the hand model. That hand model was like when I was doing cartoons. I did a lot of cartoons for about last 10, 15 years.
I love cartoons.
And I was in Hey Arnold.
Oh,
Yeah.
I grew up. I love that show.
Yeah, I was Ernie Potts, the demolition guy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's great cartoon. I was in Barnyard. I don't know if you're grown up now, but the Barnyard was just out recently. But there was this guy named, I think his name was Billy West. And they would go, Billy West is coming today. Billy West is coming. And he'd come in a limousine, and he'd go, hey, how you doing? He'd say, do something, then he'd leave. Like, Billy West was here. You know what I mean? Like, he was the hand model, or he was whoever it was, the boss, or the elite player, the Michael Jordan of what he did,
That's funny. So he worked at Hey Arnold, or he
came in and did a couple of random characters. He wasn't a regular.
And he was just like the grand all, be all.
Yeah,
voiceover.
they would have a limo to take him around all over town to do different voiceovers. I mean, he's loaded.
So nice.
Yeah, but it's funny, isn't it? That there's a superstar in that.
Yeah, I was never the superstar hand model, but I would like to know how they get treated. Do they get gloves filled with like monkey semen or something that keeps them really soft?
I think it's monkey jizz would be the proper terminology.
Would it? I don't know. That's more like the comedian proper terminology.
So you get all the questions about being a female comedian, but this really cracks me up when people don't answer this the way I think they're supposed to answer. Were you really, really funny in school?
Oh,
Just the fact that you hesitated is amazing to me.
I wasn't necessarily the class. I wasn't the wise ass. I had behavioral issues. I actually started out in the gifted program, and one day I was like doing this.
Are you Jewish?
I'm half Jewish, half regular.
Jewish, gifted? Never heard of that. Doesn't add up.
Well, I have a well, I shouldn't say dumb, but my mom is not Jewish.
What nationality is she?
She's from Finland. So she's just a really shy, quiet.
She's Finnish. Do you speak Finn?
No, not at all.
It's like Hungarian, just to let you know. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Finnish and Hungarian. Finnish is closer to Hungarian than it is to Danish or Swedish or Norwegian.
Yeah, I know that. I used to think, because Scandinavian
Where do
doesn't
I
cover
get these?
Finland, whatever, it's all lame. But anyway.
It doesn't cover Finland?
No, Scandinavia just is Swedish, Norwegian. It's not, something. I don't fucking. Maybe I'm saying I can't remember now.
That's all right. It's just a podcast.
I'm really bad at my own history, and other people's. But I was in the gifted program, and then one day I was doing a project, and I was like, "This sucks. I don't want to do this extra project. Do I have to do this?" And the teacher was like, "No, this is extra." And I was like, "Oh, okay, bye." And I just got up and left, and then I never was in the gifted program again because I'm really inherently lazy. And as soon as I find out I don't have to do anything, then I don't, which is really bad for being successful.
It's a good attitude.
Yeah.
Well, I remember being going to philosophy class, and the philosophy teacher hated music. I never met anybody that hated music. Hated all music.
No, me either.
Never met anybody like that. I love music, right?
Yeah.
And I was and I like to even like try and experiment, listen to certain things and something different. And this guy hated music. And I went to his class one day, and I was late. He said, "Well, we're going to mark you late, so you're marked absent for this." I said, "Okay, then I'm leaving." He goes, "You can't leave." I go, "Listen, if you think I'm going to listen to your bullshit when I don't get credit for it, forget about it." And then I got in trouble with the dean, and the dean pushed me, which was a big mistake. But anyway, long story short, it did not go well. This dean was like this big fat guy, and he took him a long time to waddle. And I was working the phones late at night for some extra money, working the phones for the school, the switchboard operator when they had in those days. You wouldn't remember that, but you know what I mean.
No, but I've heard my mom.
Yeah. I hear my grandparents talk about it.
No. My mom, she's young.
How old's your mom?
She's 52.
So she had you when she was like 20?
No, she had my sister when she was like 20, but she had me when she was like 30-ish.
Oh. It's not that young. I mean, it's young compared to people in
I also have
nursery.
I have a much older dad. My dad's 70, so I feel like my mom's really young.
Oh, good for him. He scored a 20-year-old less than him. You should have listened to the guy. He knows what he's doing.
Ew.
But this guy, he was the dean, and he was a real big fat guy, huge. And we were the only ones in the school, me and the guy who worked the library. Nobody went to the library in my school unless it was finals, right? It was totally, not like an Ivy League school, totally empty. They're all the beach. They're all smoking pot.
This is college?
Yeah, but it was like a college, like a joke. It was like a beach movie. And this guy would take these dumps that would take like a half an hour. Right?
Oh, wow.
And we'd go in there, "Manny, it smells like the fucking elephant house at the zoo." And you hear, boop, 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 and he'd be pulling up his pants, right? We're the only ones in the school. And then he'd come running down the aisle. "Did you see anybody?" "No, Mr. Manny, I didn't see anybody." "There's nobody else in the fucking school." And like he was so stupid. He was like, who else would have done it? Like some renegade people that run into bathrooms and know his name.
That sounds like a really fun thing to do, though, to be a renegade runner into bathroom person.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I used to, like I was always funny. And then, not that I don't want to turn this interview about me, but I just want to share this with you about, I was in junior college. I would go in like to a stall, and my friends would be in there, they'd be peeing, and like all these guys are in there, and I go, "Oh! Oh, my ass is on fire. Oh, my Roman candle of love is aflame. Oh, can somebody help me, please?" These fucking guys would be crying, peeing, Anyway.
I like that a lot. That's really funny. That's more up my alley, is tricking people and like just messing with them. I'm into that. But yeah, and I wasn't necessarily the wise ass. I was more just mischievous, bad behavior, behavioral issues. Yeah. Esther, you need to stop trying to control everyone in the class, kind of stuff.
Well, it must be very hard for a teacher to deal with people that are wittier than them. You know what I mean? And that's, I taught fourth grade, and I had some girls that were smarter than me, without a doubt. I mean, they were smart, but I used them. I used their, one of them, she's your age now, and actually a couple years older than you, and she comes to see me when I do stand-up, and she was asking me about it, and I tell her, you girls were smarter than me, but I was smart enough to know you were smarter than me.
That's important.
So I delegated things for them to do, because they could run the class,
Yeah.
But it must be tough for a teacher when you're really a wise ass, and
Yeah, you're just outsmarted by some fourth grader, which sounds like is what you were, but not in the funny world, just in like historical facts and stuff, maybe.
What do you mean?
Well, if, you're admitting that fourth graders were smarter than you.
Oh yeah, because they have more brain power.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very specifically good at one thing, but these kids were really well-rounded, good minds.
It's true. I just read a quote from Albert Einstein that you can't. I don't remember the quote, so it's
That
stupid.
must have really impressed you. That quote. I'll never forget the quote. I'll never forget the time my mother said these words to me. I can't remember who was my mother.
It was basically about how everyone's smart at something.
Yeah.
So you can't call anybody dumb. It made me feel good because sometimes I feel like I don't know when the Civil War was, and then
That's just lack of information.
Yeah.
Talking about brain power, you can't be a good comedian who's dumb.
No,
It's
you
impossible.
can't. Yeah, and you have to have
unless you have puppets.
Yes, or tricks, magic tricks.
I like magic.
You like?
I love it.
Really?
I love because I know to me it's more like a clever adroitness.
Yeah.
Like the dexterity. Like I was at the Magic Castle and this guy's right next to me. I couldn't see what he was doing. You know what I mean? And that's amazing to me. But I don't think I don't think it's magic. If it was magic, it would scare the shit out of me.
When I was a kid, I used to travel with my dad, and we were in San Francisco, and there was a guy on the street doing 3-card Monte, and we just sat and watched for like hours. And my dad used to have a gambling problem, so he was like, and I was like 12, and he was just like telling me like who was working with him, because I guess when those people are on the street playing games, they have people
Like shills?
Yeah, like people who are winning so that other people will join, that they're just, they're in on it.
They're plants, yeah.
And my dad was like showing me who was the plants, and it was kind of exciting. I was like, oh, but I guess that's not magic. That's just robbery on the street.
Yeah, well, it's a sham.
Yeah,
Mockery
sham.
of a sham.
Yeah.
Can I use that bit, by the way? Do you mind if I use it in my stand-up?
What?
Quoting somebody and forgetting the quote?
No, not at all. Go for it,
thanks.
please.
I just think it's really funny.
I like it. I would like to watch it. And then follow it and bomb.
You see it develop, and then it'll turn into like T-shirts and all. You'll be going, I gave it to him, and he won't even give me credit. Look, I really don't remember her saying that. I don't remember. I don't even remember her being on the podcast.
You got a deal at NBC based on the bit, and I'm just like working at Walgreens in my hometown.
Right.
Oh, I had something.
Did you get your flu shot? $25. So you don't drink. You don't. Do you have sex with anybody?
I do.
You do?
I have sex sometimes with if I'm dating somebody. I just added to my Twitter bio that I'm a former porn star, which is not true, but I wrote it there because I thought it was funny, and I'm going to test the waters and
Well,
see
you
how
could
it
do
goes.
like a lot of that daddy little girl thing.
That's what people like to say, yeah.
Or you could do the mommy little girl thing, which is really perverted.
Oh, okay.
Mommy knows best, and all these. Seriously, they have these porns. I mean, I have to watch it because I'm a supporter of the arts. I do. I support the arts, and one was
That's
called the
kind
Mother
of
and
you.
Daughter Exchange Club. I never see anything more perverted.
Oh.
Well, what do you want me to look? I'm a journalist. I'm not just a comedian. I research. You think I come on to this podcast unprepared, young lady?
You're right.
I ought to take a hand to you.
Yeah, you're taking one for the team. You're doing what others
Yes.
can't. That's great. I appreciate that. I wouldn't be able to see that. I'm glad you're watching it for me so I can be informed.
I don't have to watch it that long. It's amazing. I don't even care if I finish it. I care if I finish me. Oh, please. What happened? It was all going so swimmingly. You all right?
No, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I mean, I hang out with Joe Rogan and all those guys. And even Brody. I do a podcast with Brody.
Stephen Brody Stevens?
Yes.
I love Brody.
And there's some sexual talk that comes up all on the regular.
Well, that's not just because you're a woman. You know that
No.
happens with us all the time.
I know.
Bunch of pigs.
Sometimes I will just politely retract myself from the conversation, but then sometimes, like, if I feel like I have something to add, I will try.
Do you get really offended, or do you act like you're offended just because you think you're supposed to, or neither?
I think it's a good mix. I'll say that I don't ever get really offended. I don't think I can be offended by anything. I've been around really offensive, rude people who say really mean things to me about that, and it doesn't matter. But it's a little bit of, oh, I should just not get involved because I know my parents watch the stuff I do sometimes.
Right. So yeah.
I try to keep it clean, but I don't go crazy if things aren't clean.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers me is when people talk about stuff that really like hurts people, hurts children, hurts. And I'm not saying that I'm just incredibly good karmic soul, but like I was on a radio show and they were saying because the National Football League they wear pink during October. Cancer Awareness Month, and they'll wear like the players, like the coach will have a pink hat on. I go, I don't like them having fucking pink. It's a football. Fuck that. I go, well, maybe your sister didn't die of breast cancer. How about that, motherfucker?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they go, oh, I'm sorry. Who cares if they wear pink? If it's raising money for something good. But that's the kind of shit that pisses me off.
That's really ignorant. That's bad. But that's also, I think, it comes from just being at your childhood. I remember once I was babysitting and this kid at the party that I was working at didn't want to eat off of a pink plate, and his parents were so humiliated because it's just little kids get these ideas in their heads that pink is for girls, but it shouldn't be that way. It should just, you don't have to. I think that also is a small sense of homophobia that goes along with that.
Yeah. I never understood that. I never understood the whole beating up of the gay guys thing.
No, I can't quite get it either.
I always thought that was their fear of them being gay.
Yeah.
Why would you want to? Who wants to beat up? Where do you get from that?
No.
What the fuck? I remember guys in the neighborhood. I'm from Philly, and they would go around. Let's go beat up some fags. Like, what are you fucking crazy? And I remember as a kid saying, no. It's like. Can't we beat up some black kids?
Yeah, they can. They're probably strong enough.
Spanish kids, some other people that are different than us.
Yeah, gay guys are probably not as strong as you, so you're just looking for an easy fight.
That.
That's true. In West Hollywood, the gay men are really strong. It makes me feel safe.
I actually had a joke like that about even if I wanted to be gay now, I couldn't get in that kind of shape. I couldn't do the ab work.
Yeah, they really look good. They take it to the next level.
If I go, they look good, then I'm going to be like, hey, Dom Irrera is questionable. He's bi-curious. Wonder what Tony's balls taste like.
You can always have second thoughts about your sexuality at any time.
Thank you, Esther.
You're welcome.
What would you like to accomplish in this world of comedy?
I would like to pay my bills regularly.
Set that bar low,
and
kid.
Safely. I would like to just keep doing stand-up, really. I also, I have to admit, I go through phases where I'm doing open mics every single night, and I'm doing a spot a couple times one night, and then I go through phases where I'm just I don't want to get up on stage. I'll always go on stage a couple nights a week, but I will have where I'm just more focused on the writing side, because I write other stuff too. So
What's the other stuff?
I'm just trying to. I just wrote a script. I'm just writing pilots on spec for television. So
just be careful who you send them to, because if it's not copywritten, they can take it and not give you credit.
Right.
So.
Right.
It's like I remember around the Seinfeld set, they were sending the Seinfeld writers scripts, and I'm thinking they're sending guys scripts they're trying to get their jobs. So what's their incentive to help them out?
Oh,
you know what I mean? You got to send it to the right people. And are you represented yet?
Yes.
Well, good.
Yeah. You worked at Seinfeld?
No, I did. I've done an episode of Seinfeld, but I was on a show called Damon. Damon Wayans, obviously the star, and we were next to the Seinfeld stage. Excuse me. A lot of those guys are friends of mine, Jerry and Jason Alexander and Larry, David, and I would go watch the show because I was so fascinated by that level of brilliance. It was really magical to see it. I mean, it just hit that mark.
That's so cool. Yeah. I'm such a big fan of that show.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's the only show. Well, 30 Rock makes me laugh.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not into 30 Rock. I've tried a couple times, but it's hard for me to get committed to a TV show. Like Seinfeld was my big one, and I loved Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know. 30 Rock never really hit it with me.
It makes me laugh. I love the girl on it, the blonde Polish girl.
Oh, yeah.
I did something. I was doing something for the Comedy Awards, and she was so funny. She was grinding on me and making me
Ooh.
laugh. I mean, sexy but funny. And I just remember, and Tracy Morgan, I think's hilarious, and
Yeah.
I mean, all of them. Tina Fey is brilliant, really brilliant.
Yeah.
And,
I loved Mean Girls. She wrote that movie.
She's so clever, though. She's so smart. Yeah, so that's the only one that makes me laugh. It's amazing how certain shows were on for 10 years, and I'm not going to put anybody down, but they were a big hit, and you never hear about them. You never hear one quote. You never hear one thing. They're just dead. Do you know what I mean? And then they end up on TV land again someday. But like Seinfeld, you hear about every day. Somebody goes, "No
true.
soup for you," or yada yada yada, or
Even when I said that I'm a hand model, it's like you
Right,
instantly
of
think of
course.
it. Everyone goes to the episode, yeah.
yeah.
There's so many things in there that will just always be with us, like the man hands and people who's like who look ugly in bad lighting and then good in different lighting.
Oh, the light thing, and
Yeah.
the man hands, and
Close
the
talking.
woman who wore the same dress every time. She had a whole closet full of those dresses.
Yeah.
I was in the episode. I was a prop comic,
Oh.
and we were joking about a prop comic who was up against me in the real world. I was Comedian of the Year, right? So we had this Comedian of the Year thing on ABC, I think it was. Then it went to Comedy Central. But Larry thought it'd be funny for me to play a prop comic. And the essence of the character was that, he can't, he's proud of his props. And I say to Jerry, there's one point I go, do my nostrils look big to you? He said, is this a bit? I go, hey, I don't do bits. I'm a prop act. In other words, I don't write clever stuff. I got a rubber chicken and a big comb and a fake, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of fun.
That is funny.
Yeah. Yeah, my ex-wife was on that show.
Oh.
Played the mother of the ugly baby,
Oh, yes.
which is so crazy because that ugly baby lives with me now. That's my goddaughter.
Oh, that's who that is.
And she was a beautiful baby, but, remember like Kramer goes, whoa, looking at the baby. It's such a
Yeah.
funny idea for an overreaction to an ugly baby. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like, isn't she beautiful?
That's funny. Yeah, I do think that babies are ugly. A lot of them are not that cute.
Yeah, when they smile and stuff, but infants are really, that little red ball is.
Yeah.
And the thing, and
It's like call me when it has a personality.
they see something different because of the love. They're looking at something that they spawned.
Yeah.
That's the right word.
I mean, if I gave birth to like a rat, I would think it was amazing. 'Cause
Well, it would
was
be
mine.
amazing.
Yeah.
First of all, if you let a rat fuck you, it would be disgusting. By the
Right.
way, you could get bubonic plague from that. I don't know if you know that. You
Well,
don't seem to care, do you? You
no.
just go out. You
Now
get
I just have my eyes on a cute rat baby, and I just want to get one.
Yes, you are.
Mommy loves you. Please don't eat my garbage.
My
That sounds
garbage
fun.
from my lactating rat-infested.
Sounds cute. I
So,
like animals.
so do you still love it? People always ask me that. Do you still love stand-up, or is it getting tedious at this age of 24?
4 years.
This grizzled
in.
veteran.
I think that this is not unique to me, but there are definitely times where I'm over it and I just don't want to get on stage tonight, or I have my moments where I think it's really just that when I have a great set, I'm very enthused and I'm into it, or when I have a new thought or a new idea. But then when I bomb or can't think of anything new, I'm like, screw this, I don't want to do this anymore. But they never really last longer than like one night. How about you?
No, that's the thing that keeps me going, is that I really still love it.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was a young comedian, I saw this guy, Richard Belzer, who I love. Richard Belzer. I love him as an actor. I love him as a person. But Rosie O'Donnell and Richard and I did a show. Rosie was the host, and I was in the middle, and Richard was the close. And Rosie and I both did really well. And I watched Richard, and he got angry. He got bitter because he wasn't doing as well. Instead of saying something funny and making light of the situation he was in, he just got like, I'm better than you, fuck you. And I thought, man, I'm never going to do that.
I see that a lot. I see that a lot at open mics. I see that a lot at shows. People just like, this audience sucks. I know these jokes are good. And I'm like, whoa, bro.
Yeah.
Chill down. Whenever I do have bad sets, because I'm always trying to try new stuff. And when I do bad, I'm like, okay, I suck. Sorry. Like, I like to acknowledge it and be. That's one thing when I'm on stage. I don't really have a script of what I say. I'm very much in the moment in a stream of consciousness. Like, I say what's on my mind, which sort of makes it a slower process, but it's a little bit more fulfilling, I think.
Well, I see the thing is, I can't, I don't have that kind of organization to write a set. That's why the hardest sets for me are the TV shows, the 5 minute. Have you done any of them yet?
No, but I'm working on it, and it's really difficult.
It's really
and it makes me hate
if
it.
You think, because I also, like you, more wing it and bring in different bits. Like there's like these cartridges out there you pop into your head. And when I have to be organized, that's like almost like work.
That's exactly true. And I think that's why I'm going through a phase where I'm frustrated and not having fun, because I'm trying to put together that small set where it's listed out, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Just let me go on. Let me be free. And I get frustrated. And yeah, you're right. It's like, this is work.
Well, you have to be organized to a point, and that's where the grown-up part comes in, and it's really tough when you can be naturally funny. And can't I just be funny? You know, we were talking about that last night at the Comedy Magic Club, about how difficult those 5 minute sets are. And people ask me, well, you've been around a long time. Doesn't it get easier? I go, no, it gets harder. It gets harder in the sense that
oh, no, don't tell me that.
I'm telling you. Well, listen, think about this. I mean, you've been doing it for over 20 years, right?
Okay.
Now, imagine the material, the volumes of material you would have by then. And most of it I don't like, but I can't think of anything funnier. It's not like I'm thinking, oh, I love my acting, I love my material. But the thing is, when you get material that works at a certain level, then it's harder to break the starting lineup. You know what I mean? Like, then you got to really, and you just got to die with it. Like you said, you come up here and try some stuff, and it doesn't work. Well, I have to do the same thing. Don't think I'm different because I'm older and been around more than you. It's just, I mean, it's the same process. I got to fucking I have, there's like tagless, jokeless, random things I say that have they don't have an ending yet. And then sometimes it'll find it, you know, and a certain word, one word, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I also have realized that I have to record every set which I don't always listen to them, but I do record them all just so I can hear the stuff that if I wing anything that's good. And
you do, and you forget that you did.
Yeah.
And you know what the important thing is, and I don't want to come into this, the comedy, the pedantic comedian, but you think you're going to remember it and you don't. When you're out with your friends, and they go, and your friends go, write that down. That's a good. No, I'll remember it.
You
and
don't.
Go, what the fuck did I say?
I never remember anything, and that's such a problem I have. Like, if I'm laying in bed in the middle of the night, I'll remember tomorrow. No, you won't. I have to get out my phone and just type it in. And then usually when I look at what I typed, I don't even know what it means anyway. But yeah, it's so hard to remember.
That's funny, isn't it? When you see it and you go, you wrote it down and you still don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I'm like, parents, coffee, love. What is that? How was that good ever?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's a bit in this, but when I said Jenna, my goddaughter, said to say hello to you, and I said, well, why don't you say hello to her? What do I got to, now I got to worry about saying hello to her for you? Pick up a phone if she's such a dear friend. Why is it my responsibility?
Yeah, I'm also not big on I'm on the phone with my mom, and then my mom's like, who are you with? I'm like, oh, I'm with my friend Jenna. And she's like, oh, tell her I said hi. And I'm like, no, then I'm a messenger. I don't.
And then you got to say hi back.
Yeah.
She said hi. Really? Oh, she said hi back.
Who cares?
Thank you. Thank you back.
Say hi when you see each other. Don't make me do it for you.
Leave me the fuck alone. Leave me alone.
Or give them a hug for me. No. I don't give hugs for anybody. Other than myself.
It's very cool that you're at this, that you're getting on Joe Rogan shows and stuff like that. You know, that's a pretty tough one to crack. He's got a good group there.
Yeah, it's definitely not where I expected that I would land when I moved out here.
And you said you were friends with Redbone?
Redband, yeah.
Redband,
yeah.
Redbone. That was Leon Redbone, an old Indian singer.
Yeah, I did some web videos that they saw and they liked, and then they had me on their show, and then I just kind of started hanging with them on and off ever since.
I never saw you. You've been Donald Ducking me?
Well, I also I hang out at the Comedy Store a lot.
Oh, do you?
That's like my home base.
Yeah, I haven't been there as much lately, but I still do it.
Yeah.
I like the Comedy Store. I like the history of it, and
Me too.
I was there during the gun wielding days of Sam Kinison and those guys. A lot of them had guns on them. It was crazy.
Oh,
Porn
wow.
people. It was full of porn people and guns and.
I don't
in
know
the
if I
80s.
can handle that.
Yeah, it was dangerous. It was definitely, I was in New York in an improv group, and I saw that somebody had committed suicide by jumping off the Hyatt, trying to hit the Comedy Store with their body.
Yep.
Some kind of protest and not getting on.
Lebetkin.
Yeah.
Steve Lebetkin.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought, and I was doing improv. I thought, boy, this stand-up's a tough racket. I don't know if I want to get into this.
Yeah. That's in the book. I'm Dying Up Here.
Yeah, did you read that?
Yeah, that guy was really close friends with, I guess, Richard Lewis, and he was getting spots at the club, and Mitzi, the club owner, just all of a sudden just decided, no, you're not getting spots anymore. You're not good enough, because she was, I mean, you would know better than I, but from what I hear, she was like just ruled with an iron fist and was very strict and did things for no reason, and people could never understand, but she was like the gatekeeper to your dreams. And so she stopped giving this guy spots one day, and he went on the hotel next door and killed himself, and he left a note for her.
Well, the problem is with a lot of these people, they don't understand, like Jamie, for instance, he's on the show sometimes, and they don't understand the pressure and the amount of people that they're under. Like one guy said to me, he goes, boy, the club owner hates me. I forget what club it was, Tampa or something. I go, he don't hate you. He don't even give a fuck about you.
No.
You know, hey, he's a businessman. If you could bring him his business, watch how soon he loves you. You know what I mean? And like a lot of these, I mean, it is a little more different. It is a little different with these showcase clubs, because you're right. It can be the gateway to your dreams in the sense of you think, now at least I have. You know, but it also could be a disappointment, because now you're on that stage, you're exposed to the public, and you're still not getting anything.
Yeah.
So before you thought, once I get seen, then I'm going to get stuff. And then it doesn't happen. So, but it's, double-edged sword, I think it would be.
Yeah.
As Einstein once said. That's a double-edged sword. How you doing? But I think it's amazing how anybody makes it in stand-up. I don't know how. I don't remember writing my act. I don't know how the fuck I wrote an act. If you asked me to write that, I don't know. You know what I mean? You'll just see things will add up.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I always think, because I love thinking about like nostalgic things, and I think when I first moved to LA, I could not imagine having to start over again. And I still, again, am in the beginning, and I'm working hard, and it sucks a lot. But even having to go back 4 years to just starting the open mics and just trying out 3 minutes of material, it was pretty tough. I mean, it was obviously very amazing, and I got addicted to it, and I love it. But it was a tough thing to be a part of and to work on. I know
it's a tough jump from just doing well and having good and great sets to making money. Mm-hmm. And see, that I can't imagine. That I really, I guess I forgot that you know what I mean, because it's been a long time since I didn't make money, so it's very hard for me I have to remember when some people, like, because I told Sam Tripoli once on stage, he was talking about how broke he was, and I said, Sam, don't say that, because he's a good comedian. I said, don't tell him how broke you are. It makes you look like a loser.
Yeah.
But I guess that's his reality, or that was his reality in those days.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like talking necessarily about stuff like that, but it is definitely, I think, because I'm around a lot of people like, who get really negative, because it's so easy to be negative in this industry and really anything. But I just think if you just keep positive and you just keep working on what you're doing, then you'll be distracted by what you love so much that you won't have time to worry about your basic needs.
Food, water, and shelter.
Yeah.
I was, my sister had a friend, her daughter's boyfriend was in a car accident. He was paralyzed.
Oh my God.
And I was in North Carolina a couple years ago. I saw the guy, and he was, obviously, he was obviously hurting, but the accident was fresh. I don't know how much he's improved since then, but now he wants to be a stand-up comedian. So he calls me the other day, and I don't know what to say to him because I want to say, well, how you feeling? Because I mean, can you, are you just like breathing through on your own? What do you say to a person? I mean, for stand-up comedy is hard for a healthy, maybe a slightly emotionally disturbed, but basically healthy person with a lot of things going for them. Imagine being in a wheelchair, and he wants to. And I said, and I told him what I tell everybody. I said, well, you got to write. Writing is the hard part, I think, and just get on stage as much as you can. And he's asking me, how long did it take you? And I said, well, you don't measure yourself by other people's times because we're all different. And, plus you're in a wheelchair. I don't know if that's going to be, you're going to be so fucking funny that people are going to go, holy shit, this guy in a wheelchair had us crying. Or they feel bad for him when they see him.
Right.
So what do you do? And
that's difficult. Yeah, you never really know. I mean, when I started, there were people in wheelchairs who did comedy. But like you said, it's hard for anyone to start. But it's also, if you're in a wheelchair, it's harder to do regular stuff too. So maybe there's not that much of a disadvantage for comedy. But yeah, starting over. People ask me a lot, how long did you do it, or what is it? And I say the same thing. Get on stage and write. That's really all you kind of need.
Well, at least you can control that. You can especially control the writing. 'Cause that's putting in the time.
Yeah.
And if you want to get on stage, there's some laundromat here. There's maybe it's not a stage, but there's some forum to do stand-up.
Yeah, you want to practice performing.
If you want it badly enough.
Yeah, and talking to people and not being scared and not having stage fright, which I find that I started out really bold and not minding being on stage, and just that was the easy part for me. But now that I get up in bigger crowds and, like following you guys late at night, now the performing is a little bit scarier for me. That's the thing that...
Well, this group is particularly good. I mean, you're talking Daniel Tosh and Jeremy Hotz and Dane Cook and... we have really great comedians. Brian Callen and Dub Davidoff. And
there's always a special guest drop in that I'm like, what amazing person is going to be here?
Yeah.
Everyone's so excited. I'm like, no.
I don't blame you. It's an unusually strong group.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It can be intimidating, but it's also fun. I also feel really lucky that I got to just be a part of it when there are the drop-ins and watch all you guys that are great. I think I take that for granted. Well,
that's why I was go ahead, finish.
No, just I get it. I take it for granted that I get to be around these people all the time. That it's a really big deal.
I was fascinated the first time I saw it because I was thinking, who the fuck is this high school girl prancing around on stage and doing well? What chutzpah she has? Holy shit.
Yeah, people do usually think I'm in high school. That's common, not just on stage, but like at the gas station and stuff.
At the gas station.
Yeah, they're like, "Are you old enough to have a car?" I'm like,
"Are you old enough to buy gas?"
I'm 24.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, by the way, I get hit on by gas station attendants all the time.
Yeah, me too. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm not trying to top you.
Well, you are.
So go
that's
ahead.
all I have.
That's all you have. I'm sorry. What happens?
No, it's just I kind of get offended that like that's all that hits on me is like when I'm pumping gas and like there's like these like weird people who work at the gas station are like, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Getting gas in my car." I don't want to go to McDonald's with you. Like it's it's like, really, am I that approachable?
Come on, I have coupons.
I think I'm a little too
What's
approachable.
the creepiest guy that ever hit on you?
Okay, one night I was doing a late night show at the Comedy Store with Don Barris. I used to do a show there where I pretended I was 15 and
not
the Ding Dong Show, but the Barris Kennedy Overdrive. It's like his late night band.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
where they play fake instruments.
Yeah, and I used to dance for it. I did this every night for like a year.
Are you a good dancer?
I am.
Are you really?
I am a really good dancer.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, I studied dance throughout high school and
that's
college.
That's funny. I didn't expect you to say.
Well, yeah. I have.
I guess our time's up.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. It's my phone. I forgot to do.
No dancing. Yeah, I don't have.
What do I got? A band in my pocket? That's a crystal.
That's like you asking me to dance. Yeah, no, I don't have the body of a dancer, so I have the body of a writer now, so it's a surprise that I used to dance. But
Wait. I didn't hear that. Say.
I have the body of a writer now.
Oh.
I used to do this show late at night where I pretended I was in high school and I didn't know anybody, and they were like, "Are there any volunteers in the audience?" I'd be like, "Me," and then I would say how like the owner of the club got me in here because he wanted to date me. But anyway, so one night at the end of the night at those shows, this guy from Canada approached me and was like, "Hey, do you want," like, he thought I was 15 and was like, "Hey, do you want to like come home with me?" And I was like, no.
How old was he?
He was probably like in his 30s or 40s, and I was like, "No."
Yeah, I want to come home with you. Yeah. So I was thinking.
And then he was like, "I have a king size Kit Kat bar," and I was like, okay, no.
Kit Kat bar?
Yeah, he was trying to lure me to coming home with him with a king size Kit Kat bar. Actually, it might have been a bigger Kit Kat bar, like some like extraordinarily big Kit Kat bar.
You hear about the Jewish child molester? Hey, little girl, you want to buy some candy? Come on, give a little.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, that was probably the creepiest, and my friends.
I have a Kit Kat bar. He said seriously to you?
Yeah, and I was just like, no, no. But
it's an act.
Yeah, although I would have. If you are gonna try to get me to go home with you, chocolate is the first step to getting there. But you have to also be a coherent human being and not.
She doesn't ask for much.
No, I don't.
A little coherence.
I really don't ask for a lot. I'm a pretty Midwest, middle class, easygoing person.
See, the thing that's different, remember when I was saying this thing a little while back about Jenna and protectiveness? What you find when you go on the road, and there is a difference, being a woman, it's different. You know, you can't, like the condo is a little creepier if you get with a couple drunk acts. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, you know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I don't know how much you've been out there yet, but
A little.
it is a little tougher, you know, like a little bit like isolated, you know, if you can bring somebody with you, you know, not that you need protection, but just a buffer between the rest of the world, it certainly helps.
Yeah, I could see that. I have a friend that just started doing colleges, and she like got really depressed because it's hard like being alone and not really being organized, and it can be a tough world. I think that I probably will not do the road for a while just because of that.
Yeah, as long as you can afford not to do it.
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do is keep improving here.
Yeah.
Not to ask you for my advice, but just for your, you know, your own sanity, because it can be tough, especially if you go out there as a middle act, because then you really have to stay at the condo.
Yeah.
They're not going to get you a hotel.
And I have stayed at those condos before, and it's not pretty. I once stayed at the condo at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, and for the first time since I was 9 years old, had an asthma attack.
Really?
Yeah, like I couldn't breathe, and that's...
So that's an emotional asthma attack.
Yeah, it was really intense. There's some bad... They're gross places. But now, actually... the condo there is so bad that, and I don't like talking shit, but I guess I do. I met a woman the night of my show, because I was doing a show in La Jolla with like 5 guy comedians, and they were all staying at the condo, and I was like, I can't do this. Even if it was
Where
5.
were you supposed to sleep? There's only 2 bedrooms.
Well, maybe there was like 3 of them were staying at the condo, so it would have been like 1 in one bedroom, 2 in the other, and then me on the couch. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I met a woman who was a fan of my comedy and lived like 20 minutes away, and I stayed with her. I met her that night and just stayed with her. I stayed with a stranger.
It's better staying with a stranger than with guys you knew. Was it anybody I know?
The comics?
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is a weekend where it was Steve Byrne and Owen Benjamin, but I think Steve was in a hotel, and then the other guys.
Yeah, Steve would have been in a hotel.
Yeah, there was a few other guys though that were staying at the condo. I think Owen had brought a friend or something, so there was like an extra, and I was like, no.
Oh, the worst thing is they come in at 2 in the morning. Hey, you want to do some coke? It's laced with speed, so you won't miss any of it.
That would be terrifying. But I have stayed at the condo before, and I have stayed there when guys bring girls back. And I've stayed there, too, when guys tell me that they're... I won't name any names, but I.
Oh, name names.
No.
Seriously, this is the place to name names.
No.
That's what we're about.
There was a comedian who said I was supposed to share a room with him, and he was like, "Hey, Lil E, I might go. I'm gonna probably find a girl, so I'm gonna catch up with you tomorrow. Have a good night." And I was like, "Okay, bye." And then at the end of the night, he came back with me and didn't find a girl, and it was.
He slept in bed with you?
No. But there's 2 beds in one room, and he played big shot like he was gonna go get laid, and then
right.
and then he came back
with his tail between his legs.
Yeah,
How
it was
you
pretty
doing?
funny. I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm just here reading. Come on in."
So they made you sleep in the same bedroom as a guy?
Mhm.
That's not right.
Yeah, well, it's someone I know and like trust.
Who was it?
I don't want to say.
Please
that.
tell me.
No, I can't.
Please.
I won't.
It'll make the show. Should she tell us?
No, I'm not going to.
What's he look
I'll
like?
tell you after.
No, tell me now.
No.
What's he look like? If you seriously,
No.
you can tell me. Believe me, nobody's watching this at this point. They tuned out about 20 minutes ago.
No, come back. Come back.
Who was it?
I'm not gonna say. I've gotten into so much trouble saying names.
I'll name names, and you just not, and I can tell by your eye contact or lack of it.
You wouldn't guess it. It's not even. It probably is honestly someone you don't even know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a big act.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know 'em. I don't
It's
know.
true.
I don't know people that aren't acts.
It's true.
Headliners.
These are just the bottom of the barrels. The bottom of the comedy.
So what's the
store.
worst gig?
The worst gig was. There's been so many, and so many to come.
Yes, so many in my future. So many horrible gigs
Ooh, I
ahead.
can't wait. I once did a show at a sushi restaurant in a small town in the middle of California, and I thought I was going to get murdered. And I thought there was going to be a stage, but there was no stage, and there was no microphone.
It's terrible, even at your height, too. It's
yeah,
worse.
it's really bad. And so I just was literally just planted in the middle of a restaurant while people were eating their dinners, talking to their dates, and I was just trying to do stand-up. And it was very frightening. And then also I did stand-up at a religious event, like a fundraiser where it was just all like older couples, and it was in a big theater, like a big event, and I had no material that any of them would understand, and it was and I was supposed to do 30 minutes, and
What'd you do?
I just paced back and forth on the stage and was taking questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and was just trying to have conversations with the people. It was.
Wait, I thought you said there was no stage.
No, this is a different one where there was
oh.
a stage, but the audience was just really happy religious old ladies.
I did one where a guy stood up and he was grabbing his chest like he was going to have a heart attack. How do you talk this way in front of my people?
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
They were they had dots on their heads. I don't know if they were Pakistani or Indians, but they all had those saris on, that outfit.
Uh-huh.
And I said to the guy, "Have you seen my act?" The guy who booked me. He said, "Yeah, I saw you on HBO." I said, "Well, I'll do something different." He goes, "No, do your act." And the guy, within 5 minutes, I had said something about cows, and I forgot cows were sacred to them. You don't talk that way. And I remember going, everything was in slow motion. It was $2,500, right? And it was cash. I remember going out and grabbing from the guy like it was a baton. And my girlfriend already had the car started. It was like a getaway robbery. I had to get out of there. They were going to kill me. They hated me so much.
Frightening.
Yeah.
I've never had I've never had a large group hate me, but I've definitely had a large group ready to see me leave.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
So what do you got coming up?
I'm gonna take a nap
Just
after
make up
this.
shit.
Well, you can see me at. Actually, I'm just working on my stand-up here and at the Comedy Store. I don't know when this airs. This isn't live, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay, great.
No, it's not live.
But I'm here tonight.
That's why you can tell me the name of that comedian.
No. I'm here tonight. I'm at the Comedy Store tonight. I'm all about town, and I have a pretty big digital presence. I'm on Twitter at Little Esther, and I also do a podcast with Brody Stevens and my own podcast called Weird Adults, which can be found at weirdadults.com.
Good luck with everything. It was great getting to know you. I
Same.
love doing the show because I really didn't know you at all before this.
Same.
Thank you very much
Thank
for being
you.
on, Esther.
Thanks for having me.
Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to squeeze that hand. Give
Ooh.
Esther a hand, everybody. Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you.
Or whenever.
If she